A plane was saved from disaster by a single passenger's quick thinking. But that same passenger was banned from ever flying again. One decision, one moment, and his life changed forever. Before we dive in, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. Marcus Chen was not supposed to be on flight 447 that morning. He had missed his original flight the day before because of a work meeting that ran late. He was tired, frustrated, and just wanted to get home to Seattle after a week of exhausting business negotiations in Miami. He grabbed a coffee at the airport terminal, checked his boarding pass one more time, and made his way to gate 23. The plane was a Boeing 737, nothing fancy, just a standard commercial flight with about 180 passengers on board. Marcus found his seat in row 18, middle seat, sandwiched between a young woman reading a book and an older man already asleep. He settled in, fastened his seatbelt, and closed his eyes. The flight attendants began their safety demonstration. The usual routine. The exits, the oxygen masks, the life vests. Marcus had heard it 1,000 times. He worked in aviation software, so flying was part of his regular routine. But today felt different somehow. There was a tension in the air he could not quite place. Maybe it was just his exhaustion playing tricks on him. The plane pushed back from the gate right on time. The engines roared to life, and they began taxiing toward the runway. Marcus opened his eyes and glanced out the window. The Miami sun was bright, almost blinding. He could see ground crew workers moving around, baggage carts racing back and forth. Everything seemed normal. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom, welcoming everyone aboard and announcing an estimated flight time of 5 hours and 40 minutes. Marcus leaned back and tried to relax. He thought about his apartment, his cat, his bed. He thought about the report he still had to finish for Monday. His mind wandered. Then the plane stopped. Not a gentle stop. A sudden, jarring halt. The engines whined down. Passengers looked around, confused. A few people murmured questions. The woman next to Marcus closed her book and frowned. The man on the other side woke up with a grunt. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. Something was wrong. The captain came back on the intercom. There was a technical issue. They needed to return to the gate. It would just be a few minutes. The tone was calm, reassuring, but Marcus noticed something. The captain's voice had a slight edge to it, a hesitation. Marcus worked with pilots sometimes for his job. He knew what a genuinely calm pilot sounded like. This was not it. The plane slowly turned around and began making its way back. Passengers sighed. Some pulled out their phones. Others just stared ahead. Marcus looked out the window again. That was when he saw it. Smoke. Thin, dark smoke trailing from the left engine. His heart started pounding. He leaned forward, squinting. Yes, definitely smoke. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to be dangerous. He looked around. No one else seemed to notice. The flight attendants were busy in the galley, probably getting instructions from the cockpit. Marcus unbuckled his seatbelt and stood up. The woman next to him gave him a confused look. "Sir, we are still moving," she said. Marcus ignored her and walked quickly toward the front of the cabin. A flight attendant, a young man with neatly combed hair, stepped into the aisle. "Sir, you need to sit down," he said firmly. Marcus pointed toward the window. "There is smoke coming from the left engine," Marcus said. The flight attendant blinked. Excuse me. Smoke. From the engine. I saw it. You need to tell the captain? The flight attendant's expression shifted. He glanced toward the cockpit, then back at Marcus. Sir, please return to your seat. We are aware of the situation. Marcus felt frustration rising in his chest. Are you aware that it is getting worse? Because it is. I just saw it. The smoke is increasing. The flight attendant's jaw tightened. Sir, I need you to sit down now. But Marcus did not sit down. He moved past the attendant and walked straight to the cockpit door. He knocked hard. The attendant grabbed his arm. Sir, you cannot do that. Marcus yanked his arm free. Open the door. Tell them the engine is on fire. The attendant's face went pale. On fire. I saw smoke. A lot of it. If that engine catches fire while we are still moving, this whole plane could explode. That the cockpit door opened a crack. The captain, a man in his 50s with graying hair, peered out. What is going on? Marcus did not wait for permission. The left engine. There is smoke pouring out of it. I saw it from my window. It is getting worse. You need to stop the plane. Now. The captain's eyes narrowed. We are already returning to the gate. I understand that, but you are still moving. If that engine ignites, we do not have time. You need to stop. Right now. The captain stared at Marcus for a long moment. Then he turned back into the cockpit. Marcus heard him say something to the co-pilot. The plane lurched to a stop. Hard. Passengers gasped. Some screamed. Bags tumbled from overhead compartments. The captain's voice came over the intercom again, this time urgent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are executing an emergency stop. Remain seated. Do not panic. Fire trucks are on the way. Marcus looked out the window. The smoke was thicker now, black and heavy. Flames flickered at the base of the engine. His heart was in his throat. The flight attendant sprang into action, shouting instructions, preparing for evacuation. Within seconds, the emergency slides deployed. Passengers began rushing toward the exits. Marcus moved back to his row, grabbed his jacket, and joined the flow of people. The evacuation was chaotic but fast. Everyone got off the plane. No one was hurt. Fire trucks surrounded the aircraft, spraying foam on the burning engine. The flames were extinguished within minutes. Passengers stood on the tarmac, shaken but safe. Marcus stood among them, breathing hard, his hands trembling. He had just saved 180 lives. But that was not the end of the story. 2 hours later, Marcus was sitting in a small, windowless room inside the airport security office. Across from him sat 3 men in dark suits. One was from airport security. One was from the airline. And one, Marcus learned, was from the Federal Aviation Administration. They did not look happy. Mr. Chen, the airline representative began, his voice cold. Do you understand the severity of what you did today? Marcus blinked. I stopped a plane from exploding. Yes, I understand. You violated federal aviation regulations, the man continued. You left your seat during taxi. You ignored crew instructions. You forced your way to the cockpit. You created a panic situation. Marcus stared at him, disbelief flooding his chest. I saw the engine on fire. I alerted the crew. I saved everyone on that plane. The FAA agent leaned forward. Mr. Chen, the captain, was already aware of the engine malfunction. The situation was under control. Under control? Marcus's voice rose. There were flames. Flames. If I had not said anything, if the captain had kept moving toward the gate, that plane could have exploded. The airline representative's expression did not change. That is speculation. What is not speculation is that you broke federal law. You interfered with flight crew operations. You approached the cockpit door without authorization. These are serious offenses. Mark had felt his blood run cold. Are you seriously telling me I am in trouble for saving lives? The FAA agent folded his hands. We are telling you that your actions, regardless of intent, violated regulations that exist to keep everyone safe. Marcus could not believe what he was hearing. So what happens now? The airline representative slid a piece of paper across the table. You are being placed on the national no-fly list, effective immediately. You will not be allowed to board any commercial flight in the United States, possibly internationally as well, depending on cooperation agreements. Marcus's world tilted. You are banning me from flying, for saving a plane full of people. The airline representative stood up. You endangered the crew. You caused a panic. You took matters into your own hands instead of trusting the professionals. That is unacceptable. The meeting ended. Marcus was escorted out of the room, out of the airport. He stood on the curb outside, the Miami heat pressing down on him, and tried to process what had just happened. He had saved 180 people, and now he could never fly again. The news picked up the story within days. Passengers from Flight 4427 came forward, praising Marcus, calling him a hero. Social media exploded. People demanded the airline reverse the ban. Petitions circulated. News outlets interviewed aviation experts, some who supported Marcus, others who sided with the airline. Marcus became a symbol. Some saw him as a whistleblower, someone who exposed a system more concerned with protocol than safety. Others saw him as a reckless individual who got lucky. The airline refused to budge. They released a statement defending their decision, emphasizing the importance of following crew instructions and maintaining order during emergencies. The FAA backed them up. Marcus tried to fight it. He hired a lawyer. He appealed the decision. But the no-fly list is not easy to challenge. It is designed to keep dangerous people off planes. And once you are on it, getting off is nearly impossible. Months passed. Marcus lost his job because he could not travel for work. He sold his apartment and moved to a smaller city where he could live without needing to fly. He gave interviews, trying to keep his story alive, hoping public pressure would force a change. But nothing changed. The plane was saved. Everyone walked away without a scratch. But Marcus Chen paid the price. One decision, one moment. And his life was never the same. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this.